The beauty of this team is we know it's a 17-game season, and so there's no overreaction on our end.
But I think with Chase, with Mixon, with Boyd, with Higgins, with an improved offensive line after acquiring Orlando Brown, there is time to correct things, and I think they will.
Come on now. Fight for each other, dog. Come on. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3.
He slows down the sideline. He will go.
Touchdown, Bengals!
Baddest in the world today. Let's go, man. He's playmaker today. Let's do it. Fast and furious now.
That icy feeling is taking over Paycor Stadium as White Bengal makes its return in primetime. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marissa Contapelli. As the Bengals look to get the dub on Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Rams make their first trip to the Queen City since moving to LA. And with the jungle transforming to white and the Ring of Honor induction set to take place, Monday night is shaping up to be a game you won't want to miss. So as we get you set for kickoff between the Rams and the Bengals, we'll take a closer look at the stories of the 2 Ring of Honor inductees as we sit down with Chad Johnson and Boomer Esiason. ESPN's Laura Rutledge joins the show to preview Zach Taylor versus Sean McVay Round 3. And on Countdown, I'll tell you some fun facts about the historic punt return touchdown Charlie Jones had against the Ravens. But first, Mike on the mic never disappoints. So let's head down to field level as we had Mike Hilton mic'd up against the Ravens.
Make plays and fly around now. Come on now. Fight for each other, dog. Come on. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let's go. We on it. Let's go. Let me get some, Sam. Yes, sir. You're here for a reason, T1. It all will come back to you. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Make them believe it. You're the best in the world, man. No! No! Rush lanes. Keep them inside. Keep them inside.
From the pocket, his pass incomplete.
Giving it to him? Nah, he finna back up. Yeah. I see you backing up. Good. Woo! Hey, Mose, you know I'm built for it, though. Woo! You saw that? Yeah. Well, I thought I was gonna sneak by you. Hey, look, I'm still a little out down there. I tried to let you lead, 7. Still pushing, dog. It's 10 for me. Ooh, I'm trying to get there, man. Go, hey, God. For sure. God willing, that's it. We settle down now. Let's go. We settle down. We solid. Be hot. Do our job, Chief. That's it. I know. Let's do our job. That's it.
Kick is in the air.
Missed it.
It is no good. A little bit wide right. Lamar has the ball. Scrambling.
Nah, I can't let you get it like that, hey. I can't let you get it like that.
Jones will catch it at the 19. Starts toward the near side. Right. At the 30, he's going to take it to the house.
Purdue's finest, baby. Purdue's finest. You know we locked in now. It's time to go now. Clear your mind. Play ball. You're going to make a play.
Lamar Jackson will look to throw. Incomplete for Odell Beckham Jr., who is blanketed by Cam Taylor-Britt.
There he hold it. Thank you. Boy, he can't hold you. Uh-oh. He's a baby. Who we got today? What's your name? Paul. Mike, nice to meet you, man. What's up, boy? Stay healthy, keep balling. What's up, boy? You already know it. What's up? Good stuff, man. We'll see y'all later. Oh, yeah, you know it.
When we return, we roll back the film and dive into the archives as we relive the remarkable careers of the Bengals' 2 Ring of Honor inductees, Boomer Esiason and Chad Johnson. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Alta Fiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. There are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and 85 will always be open. Chad Johnson and Boomer Esiason will have their names etched into Bengals history forever, as they will become the next 2 players inducted into the Ring of Honor. The blonde bombshell and Ocho Cinco were walking highlight tapes back in their day, responsible for countless Bengals records and memories.
Still bold and brazen, Norman Julius Esiason and Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson pick up center stage with their flair for the spotlight and move it into Monday night's larger-than-life Bengals Ring of Honor induction, celebrating the 2 biggest personalities in franchise history.
Be a pro. Chad, please.
With a show fit for Broadway, Johnson owned the marquee as the balletic pass catcher who became the Bengals' all-time leading wide receiver in the first decade of the 21st century. He did it all the while declaring he was like your neighborhood 7-Eleven, always open. So was his mouth that never stopped challenging everyone's notion of what football should be. He went from a 6-time Pro Bowler with countless moves to social media pioneer with 2 different names.
Ocho right here now.
His Ring of Honor classmate has just as much of that great white way chutzpah.
You know, when I got to Cincinnati in 1984, they had just hired a new coach. They brought in both of us together at the same time. And we both had unique personality traits, to say the least.
Shoot.
58G release.
All right.
647 bend in.
I think I passed my oral exam today.
Boomer Esiason has always gone as big as his native New York, winning the 1988 NFL MVP and leading the Bengals to a Super Bowl as their candid, take-it-all-on locker room captain before embarking on a tell-it-like-it-is broadcasting career that saw him work a record number of Super Bowls.
In motion comes McGee, and Boomer with the call, pumps once, throws in the end zone. Yep. Touchdown, Tony McGee. It's 13-0 Bengals.
Even like a Sinatra or an aging rock band, Esiason's big-as-brass playing career ended with a dramatic comeback in a short but spectacular stretch he calls as satisfying as any moment he ever had. After playing his first 9 seasons and going to 3 Pro Bowls in Cincinnati, he returned as a backup in 1997.
Unbelievable. The blonde bombshell is hot, baby.
When I came back at the end of my career, it may have been some of the most fulfilling football that I had ever played.
Well, Boomer was razor sharp on that bad boy.
At age 36, Esiason came off the bench in his hot-as-hell reunion tour to win 4 of the last 5 games with a career-best 106.9 passer rate, and went out with a winning 77-yard curtain call on his last NFL throw.
It was fake 16, boot left, throwback, post to Darnay Scott, I believe.
And the blonde bombshell goes over the top to Darnay.
Esiason's Ring of Honor classmate also brought plenty of gifts in his decade that was so prolific.
Y'all talk about me?
An ultra-quick first step that made him almost invisible at the line of scrimmage. Hands with enough glue to stick 490 catch seasons. A pair of championship boxers' feet gliding over the turf and defying the sideline.
Oh, what a grab! Ocho Cinco!
They combined to make him the first man in the history of the modern NFL to win 4 straight conference receiving yardage titles and left a blaze of highlights at the center of the Bengals renaissance under head coach Marvin Lewis that made the stripes one of the most recognizable uniforms in the NFL.
I know you can't cover, you too pretty.
From point A to point B, stop. My ability to run full speed and stop on a dime. And just being very precise. No wasted movement. Easily the best route runner to ever play the game. I'm not sure who would want to argue with that. We can pull up the film.
If we don't win this game, I'm not doing my job. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Whatever you want to do, baby, I got you, man.
Child, please. Child, please. Child, please.
You take anything for the game?
Yeah. Viagra.
I played football like a little kid.
Call me.
I want to be known as the one who made football fun again, said Johnson, who can still see his work today. The celebrations that Johnson made routine aren't outlawed, they're choreographed. His reach is so long and current on social media that he co-produced Bengals running back Joe Mixon's coin flip celebration in last year's regular season finale, thrilling another Paycor Stadium crowd a dozen years after his last routine.
And it works out just fine for Cincinnati.
Now Chad Johnson's theatrics and Boomer Esiason's no-huddle offense are saluted in another Paycor celebration. Once considered off-the-wall outliers, they are now staples of today's NFL and enshrined for tomorrow's game in the Bengals Ring of Honor.
You can view the entire feature on Boomer and Chad by visiting youtube.com/Bengals. The Bengals look to get in the win column in primetime. Coming up next, we preview the matchup against the Rams on Monday Night Football. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. It's a primetime showdown on Monday Night Football as the Rams make their first trip to Cincinnati as a member of the Los Angeles Rams since 1993. ESPN's Laura Rutledge will be roaming the sideline in the jungle, and she now joins Dan Horde to give us her preview.
ESPN is coming to town on Monday night for Monday Night Football, and the leader of NFL Live will be on the sideline for the telecast, Laura Rutledge. Laura, just like last year, the Bengals are off to an 0-2 start. What do you and your ESPN colleagues make of it?
I picked the Bengals to be in the Super Bowl, so I still think it's going to happen, and I'm going to stick to that. But they got to get things turned around here quick, and maybe Monday Night Football is the stage for all that to happen on. But the one thing I would point out is we feel like the first game, because of the rain and just bad weather, you almost throw that one out. Last week, I think they played a lot better than it looked like, and a lot better than maybe the box score would show. And I know that sounds sort of typical of, oh, there's more to it than just the box score. But I think specifically when it comes to this Bengals team, you're seeing a lot more signs of life offensively and a lot more signs that Joe Burrow is getting more comfortable than maybe it appeared based on the points.
I am admittedly biased, but I feel like the Bengals defense doesn't get the attention it deserves. Do you agree?
I do. I will say on NFL Live, we love the Bengals defense and we love Lou Anarumo as their defensive coordinator. I think he is, and the numbers back this up, as a defensive coordinator and as a defense as a whole, they are one of the absolute best when it comes to second half adjustments. And, I don't know if people realize, but half times in the NFL are not that long. And they're able to very quickly identify things. I mean, this game, you see so many offenses able to do things and the defense has to adjust. It's kind of just the way it's going to go. They are able to adjust better than any other team. And I just think that's such a valuable trait to have as a defense. And it all starts with Lou Anarumo. So I agree. I think this defense probably doesn't get enough credit. And, they're going to be, listen, this Rams offense is playing really well right now. And Matthew Stafford might be playing the best at the quarterback position of anybody so far this season. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But I believe they will give the Rams far more difficult game than any of their opponents have given them thus far this season. And I just think most offenses say, we really don't want to face that Bengals defense, which is probably the biggest compliment you could actually get in the NFL.
Monday night's going to be special. The Bengals will be wearing their white Bengal uniforms. The Ring of Honor ceremony is coming up at halftime. The jungle is going to be rocking. What are some of the keys to the Bengals and Rams on Monday night?
You got to limit Puka Nacua on the other side and force Matthew Stafford in a situation to where they really have to make something happen in the pass game. He can do that, but they do rely a lot on the run game. So, try to limit that, try to get him feeling some pressure that may not even be there, which I think Anarumo has a lot of things cooked up his sleeve where he should be able to do that. And then, I would just say, I think this one's going to be back and forth throughout. I think we're going to see a lot of offense. So it may really be like who gets the last laugh there. And that's where you've just got to score in the red zone. So I sound like a football coach because I'm like, okay, so protection, limit turnovers, make sure you score in the red zone. But truly in this game, I think those are the keys.
We are really looking forward to having ESPN in town, and we appreciate your time today. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you guys.
This fall, the Bengals and Ohio Cat will be out at a different high school football game, cheering on our local teams throughout the season. Last month, Houday and the Bengals Stripe Squad were out at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton as the St. Edward Eagles took on the Center Grove Trojans. Students and fans had the chance to win great prizes, including passes to attend a closed practice later this season. Rule your school and be on the lookout for Friday Night Stripes, because the Bengals and Ohio Cat could be coming to your game next. Did your high school win a big football game this past weekend? Then you can nominate your coach now for the Bengals Coach of the Week Award presented by Paycor by visiting Bengals.com/Coach of the Week. Up next, it's time for Contepelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you why there's no need to panic as the team looks for win number 1 of the season. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Betfred, the official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals, and your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. This week's White Bengal and Ring of Honor game is presented by CareSource, the official partner of the Bengals Care Community Program. The rookie from the Midwest dazzled last week as Charlie Jones showcased his special speed, taking the first Ravens punt to the house, scoring his first career touchdown. And the sizzle that Chuck showed on Sunday, well, it was extra crispy. Jones's punt return touchdown was the first by a Bengal since 2012, and the first punt return TD by a Bengals rookie in 23 years. The 81 yards Jones logged on the run made it the 7th longest punt return score in team history. Chuck Sizzle recorded a top speed of 20.97 miles per hour, the fastest by a Bengal this season, and 10th fastest by a ball carrier in the NFL this year. Monday night is the first primetime game in the jungle this season, and it's a place the team has thrived in. The Bengals have won their last 5 home primetime games, with the most recent being the wild card win over the Ravens in January. They have also gone their last 5 regular season home primetime matchups without turning the ball over, while the defense has forced 7 total turnovers in those outings. Now, one big key for the Bengals offense in Week 3 will be feeding the hot hand. In 11 of the Bengals' 14 wins last season, they had at least one player exceed the 100 scrimmage yardage mark, with halfback Joe Mixon eclipsing 100 rushing and receiving yards in 5 of those wins.
Burrow throws, caught! Joe Mixon! Joe Mixon tying the Bengals franchise record for touchdowns in a game, and he does it before halftime.
And Trey Hendrickson will look to continue his dominance on Monday nights. In 5 career Monday night games, Hendrickson has tallied 5.5 sacks. He will also take aim at his 3rd consecutive game against the Rams, recording at least 1 sack on their QB. And as the team looks to get in the win column on Monday, it's a place they've been before. After starting 0-2 last season, Cincinnati found itself on top of the AFC North and was among one of the final 4 teams standing, finishing the season on a 10-game win streak leading up to the AFC Championship game. In 7 of the past 10 seasons, at least one 0-2 team has made the playoffs. And out of last year's playoff group, 8 of the 14 teams began the season 1-1 or 0-2. Contepelli's Countdown is presented by Betfred. And don't forget to visit kingofcincy.com for your chance to win an exclusive game day experience, prizes, and so much more. The Bengals and Betfred remind you to gamble responsibly. It's now time for this week's Kettering Health Fantasy Report. T. Higgins paced the way for the Bengals, finding the end zone twice and finishing as the top-performing Bengal in Week 2. Higgins' 8 catches for 89 yards, and the 2 scores flew him up the fantasy leaderboards, as he finished Week 2 as the 4th highest fantasy receiver. Joe Mixon tallied over 13 fantasy points as he posted 95 scrimmage yards against Baltimore. This marks back-to-back weeks to begin the season, with Mixon scoring in double-digit fantasy numbers. And for the Rams, rookie Puka Nacua has burst onto the scene with back-to-back 100-plus receiving yard games to start his NFL career. Against the 49ers, Nacua hauled in 15 catches for 147 yards, posting over 30 fantasy points, leading the Rams in receiving in Week 2. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. Kickoff between the Bengals and the Rams is coming up Monday night on ESPN. For Dan Horde and our entire crew, I'm Marissa Contapelli. We'll see you next week. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by AltaFiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.